Do you really need a separate eye cream? Or is it just a bunch of marketing hype? Welcome back to my channel. I am Sarah Martin with the Contoured Chemist. We are going to be diving into all things eye products, eye care, if you actually need a separate eye cream or if you don't. If you want to check it out, please keep watching and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for being here. So, special shout out to Sleep and Glow, who is sponsoring this video. If you guys have not heard me talk about it before, having a sale in celebration of Women's Day so you can treat yourself. I have been sharing the Omnia pillow for years now. It is one of my favorite products in my arsenal that isn't necessarily skincare, but does so much for your face. You are a fellow side sleeper, and especially those of you that might be stomach sleepers, you might have sleep wrinkles. So if you can imagine sleeping on your face for years and years, what happens is you start developing these vertical lines. So expression wrinkles tend to be more horizontal. If you're noticing you're getting lines in your face that are going down, then those are caused from just your skin sleeping against your standard pillow. So the unique design with this Omnia pillow is that it's 3D, and so it's designed so your face virtually just floats on air. It's got this cool cutout so that as you're sleeping, none of that pressure, your skin's not getting pushed and you're not getting wrinkles to form. Because over the years of sleeping like that, they become permanent and they are so easily avoidable. If you know me, you know I love a good clinical study. They showed that 82% of sleep wrinkles, the diameter and the depth, were reduced in just 3 months' time of switching to this pillow, which is incredible. Plus, it was designed by orthopedists. So what that means is that it actually ensures anatomically that your body position is in alignment. So it's going to help you over time. It is such a great investment for both your sleep and your beauty regimen. And they are running a promotion that gets you 15% off from March 1st to the 15th. I will link them down below. Again, Omnia by Sleep and Glow. Obsessed. I know you guys will love it too. I know so many of you have already tried it and love it. Friends, let's get right on into it. Do you need a separate eye cream? I would say one of the most asked questions I get on a daily basis is recommending an eye cream. And I usually respond back with a bunch of questions because in my opinion, looking at scientific data, my own experience, expert advice, not everyone needs a separate eye cream. For years, I was like, it's all marketing. If you don't know, it's like the beauty industry is just saturated with false information, false claims, all of these grand promises that a product can give you that might not necessarily be true, right? This is why I try and test so many products for you guys to see if it can live up to the hype. So, are the marketing claims true? Do you need a separate eye cream? Here are the questions I want you to ask yourself so you can determine for yourself if you need a separate one. First things first, what purpose are you looking for from your eye cream? What issue maybe do you have around your eyes? If you are young and in your 20s or younger, do you need an eye cream? Absolutely not. Experts will tell you that if you look at the ingredients on the back of a standard eye cream and you compare it to a moisturizer, they won't be much different, but you're gonna pay more per ounce for this little guy than you would a moisturizer, all right, if you just look at them across the board. That's why a lot of experts say don't even buy an expensive eye cream, just use your moisturizer. So I agree with the experts. If you are just looking for hydration only, you tend to just have dehydrated under eyes because the under eye skin is so much thinner than the rest of our face. It can need extra hydration. Now here's my caveat to that. I can tell you from experience, if you look at the way my under eyes looked, years of not caring for my skin, AKA not washing it, not using a moisturizer at all, zero skincare regimen, most of my under eye issues, even in my early 30s, was all due to dehydration. If you're looking for the quickest way to plump and revive your under eyes, moisturize. It's very simple. Most people's, even lines, crepiness can be reversed through hydrating products. So that's when you're looking for hydrating gel creams. These are usually eye creams or moisturizers that are infused with hyaluronic acid, ceramides, glycerin, things that we would think of as humectants, those water-loving molecules that are gonna bring that water into your skin. If you don't wanna go get a separate product, don't. Use a moisturizer. Whatever your moisturizer is, start taking it up to that lash line. This is what I would recommend for my daughter. She's 12. She's getting into skincare. Does she need a separate eye cream? Absolutely not. Not at all. She can use her moisturizer. Number 2, my caveat to number 1 is, are you prone to milia? I'll insert a picture of what milia looks like. I am prone to milia. So when I started my skincare regimen, I saw really quick results from just hydrating under my eyes. My issue came in that my favorite nighttime cream was too heavy under my eyes. Start using your moisturizer and maybe you notice that that area of your eye starts looking kind of like chicken skin. It's kind of bumpy. All milia is that keratin getting trapped underneath the skin. It is caused from things like more occlusive products in that area, okay? Occlusive means thicker, heavier textures. So for me, I knew I didn't want the milia to get to a point where I'd have to, the only way you can get rid of it is going to a dermatologist, having them removed, or using a retinoid to slowly increase that skin cell turnover. Now, my daughter uses a moisturizer around her eyes. We noticed she actually developed a milia from something she was using, and it was because it was too thick. She's got skin like mine, and she's gonna have more sensitive eyes. And she started using an eye cream with a very small amount of retinoids, which I'll get to in a minute, and it went away. So if you notice that that is happening, stop using that heavier moisturizer around the eyes. I just noticed that that was something I was prone to. So for example, I picked up my 2 favorite products from Dew that are both just their moisturizers. This is their original Instant Angel. It's a lipid rich moisturizer. You can tell from the texture of this product, it is more of a night cream in my opinion. I love it for night. It's too heavy for me during the day because I have more normal skin. This is their new Air Angel, which is more for oily skin types. Do you see the difference in texture? If you're noticing you're having milia and you're using something with a thicker base like this has much more occlusive rich, this is much more emollient and humectant, which are those lighter ingredients, okay? This tends to trap more, right? It's great for overnight on your face because it holds in extra water loss. If I use this lighter product overnight, I don't wake up nearly as hydrated. So it can just depend on your skin and what the rest of your face needs. If you're more oily, you might be able to use something like this around your eyes and then just put this on over it and avoid your eye area. That's what I do. I have more normal skin, but I really like waking up with a glow to my face. I don't want my eyes to develop milia. I can't put this near my eyes, but I can use something like this, and I could just not use an eye cream. Another option is using a separate eye cream and looking for more like this gel type formula. Cetaphil one is very budget friendly. It's a hydrating eye gel cream. Anything that is marketed as like an eye gel or an eye serum is gonna be great for those of you that are prone to milia. You can still get that hydration, and you don't have to worry that it is going to cause that buildup of keratin around your eyes over time. So I have my bucket. Yes, these are all eye products. If you don't know, this is my problem area. This is something I have tried a lot of products. These are just in my current regimen. You do not need multiple eye products. It just depends on your concern, which right now, let's just talk, we're still talking hydrating. We're talking prone to milia, look for thinner textures. Certain eye products you might pick up might only be for really that hydration factor. Cetaphil, Neutrogena, Hydro Boost line, those really are all about hydration. They're not going to have some of these other benefits that I'm going to be talking about. If you have very sensitive eyes, I love the Toleraine line from La Roche-Posay. This one is really good because it has that same gel type consistency, and it is really designed for the most sensitive eyes. I have very sensitive eyes because I do have eye dermatitis after all these years. And so that one works really well for me when my eyes are more inflamed and need some hydration. If you've ever had eye dermatitis, you know what I mean. The Dew Eye Oracle, I'd say, is probably the epitome of a hydrating eye that is more than hydrating, I would say, because it does have peptides. It's very high in glycerin, but this is the texture I'm talking about when I'm talking about looking for that gel type texture. You are gonna get so much hydration from something like this. This was kind of designed for these types of eye masks to kind of slow the penetration of your eye product, so you get more of that boosting of fine lines and like plumping them up and really hydrating. This is the Oracle Reviving Eye Gel. It's all in the name. It's absolutely incredible. So looking for those type of gel cream formulations. If you are prone to milia, you will not have issues with milia if you're using something like that. Moving on to number 3. You want to target a specific eye concern. So these are things like dark circles, puffiness, fine lines, wrinkles, 360, meaning you have issues with your eyelids like I do. Mostly in that category is anti-aging, although dark circles and puffiness can definitely happen as you're younger. So let's get into that first. I didn't realize I had so many products with number 1 ingredient for puffiness. Let's talk puffiness. The reason why I have these on right now is because it is morning and I woke up puffy. If you suffer from under eye bags, retaining water in that area, lack of sleep, all of those things that can contribute to under eye puffiness, this is one thing that you don't necessarily find in a full face product. You usually don't see caffeine, and caffeine will constrict those blood vessels, reduce puffiness for a short amount of time. They say about 8 hours, okay? So the OG I've been using for years is the Ordinary's caffeine solution. This does have an ingredient in it also for dark spots, but I would say I've been using this for years because it is a really lightweight serum, great for those with milia, and it just depuffs really well. Now, add something like this, you're gonna get far better results, but that caffeine is what's necessary under the eyes. So if puffiness is an issue for you, I would say pick up an eye product with caffeine. Doesn't mean you can't also use it at night, but know that there's no really point to using caffeine at night when you're just, by the time you wake up, if you get a full 8 hours of sleep, which I hope everyone does, you're gonna wake up puffy again. Now, this pillow can also help with that, especially if you are sleeping on your back, which is honestly the best possible way to reduce puffiness, is training yourself to sleep on your back so that all those fluids drain out of your face. I've been trying to teach myself that for years. Alas, I'm still a side sleeper. I put my weighted blanket on myself and I still flip in the middle of the night. So you might wake up with one side puffier than others. You gotta love that lymphatic drainage, right? Here's a great one that is designed because it has this cool metal roller tip. It is legit like hyaluronic acid for hydration and caffeine for depuffing that you can get at the drugstore. This is L'Oreal Revitalift. Put it in the fridge and you'll get even more of that depuffing from those metal roller balls. One of my favorites to use both day and night. It does have caffeine, but it also has anti-aging and hyperpigmentation ingredients as well, and is silicone free. If you're wearing Seint, it can really help that. And that's the peptides plus C energy eye concentrate from Youth to the People. This one is one of my very favorites. I notice a noticeable difference when I use this and pop these on. It's like I can tell that caffeine works really well. Mila's the Eye Enhancer has caffeine. Both of these I would say are very similar, a little bit different. So we have In Beauty Project Bright and Tight Eye Cream. I recently started testing this. This is what I'm using this morning actually. This does have caffeine. This will help other things as well. So when we get into dark circles, let's talk dark circles. I feel like dark circles in the eye cream industry is the most deceiving, over-marketed thing there is. Because you'll see it helps dark circles on so many packaging. But does it? Honestly, there's different things that can cause your dark circles. Sleep. The only thing that can help that is sleep, right? Or using a product that is maybe more yellow-based, maybe has some brightening effects with mica that will give the appearance of a brightened under eye, but again, so can makeup. So that might be good for no makeup days to kind of camouflage the depth. Second, dark circles can be genetic. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about your genetics, right? A lot of skin things are genetic and we can't really change them. 3, dark circles can be due to thin skin around the eyes. So if you are like me, that is where my dark circles come from. Let's just peel this off here. I have very thin skin around my eyes, and so you can see the blue and purple from my veins, which is contributing to my dark circles. So one of the things that can help that is any kind of collagen building product. That's gonna be your retinoids, maybe some peptides, bakuchiol, things like that, that are more on that anti-aging threshold, which I'll talk more about in a sec. And then third is hyperpigmentation. And those dark spots, which again is a lot of my depth around my eyes, are caused by dark spots. So you can add in those things like this vitamin C that's in this. This has tranexamic acid, which is also great for hyperpigmentation. And that can also lighten that depth over time, which contributes to your dark circles. So if you notice your dark circles, if you know what's causing them, if you've had dark circles your whole life, it's most likely genetic. if you're just tired one day and you notice you have dark circles, you know it's sleep deprivation, right? But if you can visibly see that your eye skin is thinning over time due to age, and you have dark spots, those are things that an eye cream can help. It can't help genetics, really can't help sleep. Caffeine can help that puffiness, but for dark circles, it can vary so much. So really looking at ingredients and what's in a product are gonna help tell you if that product's gonna help your dark circles. Does that make sense? So I like this formula. It has, you see how yellow that is? It has that brightening effect under the eye, all right? So it also has vitamin C and tranexamic acid to reduce those dark spots over time. It has caffeine to also reduce that puffiness, but then it also has peptides and that bakuchiol to help with fine lines and wrinkles. So I like the formulation of this product a whole lot. And it's something that you can visually put under your eyes in the morning and see that kind of instant gratification, but then long-term it's gonna give you some of those benefits as well. The Beauty Stat Universal C Eye Perfector is very similar in that it has that vitamin C for dark spots over time, and it has caffeine to get rid of that puffiness really quickly as well. It doesn't have the color or the mica necessarily, but it does dry down to a nice kind of matte finish, which will kind of blur fine lines under your eyes as well. All of these types of products are also gonna be hydrating. I feel like it's very rare that you're gonna find an eye cream that isn't meant to hydrate. So you might not have to be so picky about looking for a hydration ingredient. I don't think I've ever come across one that doesn't have one in it. Now, if you're like, Sarah, I just need some hydration, occasionally I'm puffy, you might not need to necessarily get a separate eye cream for that. The cheapest alternative is just using facial massage to push that lymphatic drainage out, days you're puffy. If you really want to try something like an ice roller, this is my go-to when I'm puffy. A caffeine eye cream, a forever eye mask, and an ice roller, pushing that lymphatic fluid out of my face. It is one of the fastest, most effective ways I've found. Ice roller, jade roller, your fingers. You don't necessarily need these things, but it is beneficial. Now, there are products that are designed to reduce puffiness that are just eye patches. These are definitely one-time use. You throw them away, that kind of thing. I like to keep those in the fridge so they're cooling, so that they have more of that constriction without even having to break out my ice roller. They're gonna do that. I like the Forever Eye Mask because, let's be honest, those add up. I'm cheap. These I can buy one time. You just drop them in the tin. You can put these in the cooler actually, and you just clean them, put them back in. You can use them with any eye cream or serum you have. And since I obviously like to collect and try many eye products, I love that I can use these Dew Forever eye masks with anything, and it's just gonna help that product work better. So I'm asked all the time, what's my favorite under eye mask? It's definitely these because they're reusable. We went over dark circles, puffiness, hydrating, dehydration lines. Now, what about if you're like me and I started seeing effects mid to late 30s, more so now that I'm in my 40s, anti-aging, right? So the full 360, meaning I've got under eye wrinkles when I smile, from expression lines, crow's feet, all the way up to loss of a lot of elasticity in my eyelid area. Obviously, I want to age as gracefully as I possibly can. Keeping those things hydrated is always going to help, but is there more that we can do? And there are some targeted ingredients that you can look for in an eye cream without even spending an absorbent amount of money. I have fallen prey to marketing on some of these things that I've seen no results from, that I am only going to share the ones that I would say are tried and tested by me, that I've seen visible results from. Obviously, everyone's skin is different. Everyone's concerns are different. My main thing is that I'm usually looking for something that is 360. Usually it'll say on the bottle or somewhere on their website, it can be a 360. It'll like legit say 360 degrees around the eye area, or it'll say applied to the lid and under the eye. You wanna make sure that the product is meant for the upper eyelid before just putting it there. Otherwise you could have issues. Under eye and around orbital bone. All of my very favorites are 360s because that is something I need help with. And sometimes even my upper eyes are puffy and I need something to take down that swelling, right? I'd say probably the two most heard of ingredients when it comes to anti-aging with fine lines and wrinkles. Okay, we already established you need hydration. If you don't have that, there's no point to using these other things. It's just gonna make the problem worse. You need to make sure you're hydrated first. Then we're gonna talk about peptides, okay? So peptides is not a new ingredient necessarily, but I feel like evolving innovation that new peptides are being introduced into skincare. The biggest issue I have with peptides is sometimes it's hard to know which peptides are in it. Not all peptides are anti-aging. Some relax those fine lines and wrinkles. Others work in other ways by just increasing collagen. But typically if you see peptides in an eye product, it's usually going to be one or the other, okay? Its pure purpose is going to be for fine lines and wrinkles. So if you want a really budget-friendly one, I'd say the multi-peptide eye serum from The Ordinary. Again, another great product if you're prone to milia because it's a serum. Now, I love this one because I can easily layer it. I can use this and get my anti-aging part over with. If I'm feeling dry, I sometimes will put something like a hydrating serum over it. If I am depuffing, I might put this on and put something, granted, this one wouldn't be a good example. It already has peptides in it, but you see what I'm saying. You could easily use something and then put something with caffeine over it, like this. These are both very budget friendly, so you could definitely use this one at night, use this one only at morning. You don't have to have separate eye products for day and night, but if your main issue is depuffing, stick to this in the morning with caffeine. You don't necessarily need a peptide eye serum in the morning. It doesn't have caffeine in it. Pay attention to your ingredients. Look at your ingredient labels. But that doesn't mean you can't layer. It's skincare, right? Skincare is designed to layer. So use a little bit of peptides. You can get some anti-aging benefits all day long and then pop a little caffeine over it if you're puffy that morning. I like having these kind of really thin like products so I can layer easily and I don't have any issues with pilling. I hate pilling, especially around the eyes. Eye makeup never goes on well with that. Again, another reason why I love this one, and it's been my holy grail for a while now, is because it also has peptides. It has that vitamin C, it has that caffeine. It's got a lot of great things in it that you can use both morning and night. So if you don't want to have to layer, you don't want two separate products, you can easily use this one both morning and night. Some of these other products that I already talked about also have peptides, so read your labels. You can get a really good all-encompassing product. You don't necessarily need two, but it truly depends on what you're wanting out of your eye product. If you don't need all those things, you don't necessarily need to pay more for a product that has all of those things. So if you're just struggling with hydration and you want some anti-aging benefits, you can easily get something to hydrate from the drugstore, or just use a peptide and put your moisturizer over it. Does that make sense? Customize it for what you're needing. And again, your skin's always changing. You might have to change your routine with it depending on what's working for you. Right now, I've really been focusing on trying to kind of lift the upper eyelid area. This is, again, something that not all eye products will do comparatively. And I saw a before and after with someone that's used this product consistently for like, 12 weeks. I thought the product, and I already had the product. I never saw results like they did, but I was using a lot more of the product. So once I saw what they were doing, I went back to using this, and I've noticed far better results while using it in a certain way. So this is the BioEffect EGF eye serum. So this has EGF, which again, then a peptide, also great for anti-aging. It's got this roller ball. So I was like pumping it and like putting around the eyes. It was giving a lot of product. I felt like it was disturbing my makeup, all of those things. And I saw that she recommends using it like this. So it's got this little pump on the bottom, and she's like, you barely pump up, just enough to get a little bit of the product around the roller ball. And then what she did was use her finger and applied some to the eyelid, got another bit and did under, and she just like was so sparing with it. And I'm like, and this way it soaks in really quickly. It's just like a serum, and I've already been noticing results. So all that to say, don't give up on eye products. See how people are using them. This is why recommendations can go such a far way. But I've really been liking this. Is it hydrating? No, not necessarily. This is really going to give me the lift to my eyelids. That's what I'm looking for this product. So when I'm using it, I will use another product with it if I'm feeling like my eyelids or my under eyes are looking dry. I'm gonna layer this as like my first step, kind of like the thinnest serum-like consistency, and then I'm going to put something over it, especially at night, overnight, when you lose a lot of moisture loss. I'm gonna make sure I lock and load it, right? What's the holy grail of all anti-aging ingredients? So we're getting into retinols, baby. Retinol, more research. I've talked about it a million times. The issue with retinoids, if you're using a retinoid for your full face, you're supposed to avoid the under eye because that skin is so thin, it's gonna get irritated way faster. Totally will depend on your tolerance, how long you've been using a retinoid, what kind of retinoid you're using on your face, and slowly over time, you might be able to go past this orbital bone with your retinoid product. But I'm talking you've never used anything close to your eyes before. Here's a couple of my favorite recommendations. Drugstore, Rock Retinol Correction. Reduces fine lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Okay, the dark circles is because retinol will increase collagen production. So over time, this is not gonna be a quick fix. This is not gonna have the brightening capabilities that some of these do. It doesn't have caffeine necessarily, but this is more of a long-term, you're starting to introduce a retinoid around your eye, okay? It has retinol, OL, meaning it's gonna be the gentlest, and this is a great drugstore product to start with. Once you've been using that, you can go into a retinal, AL, a retinaldehyde. This one is one of my most favorite formulations ever. It is very gel-like, but it is super hydrating and has my favorite retinoid, which is retinal, gives less irritation. This one is specifically made for your eyes. And when I see that, I know it's a low dose and I know it's not gonna irritate my eyes. So this is the Revive Eye Serum, Ginseng plus Retinol by Beauty of Joseon. So I love this one. I've been using this a really long time. I haven't gotten any eye irritation from it, but if you've tried any kind of retinoid around your eye and you do have irritation, I've found an amazing alternative. Some people just cannot use retinoids. And some people just have very sensitive eyes, right? So that's why eye creams like this are great. This isn't necessarily anti-aging. This is gonna be a hydrating product. So if anti-aging is a major concern for you and you have sensitive eyes, maybe you've tried a retinoid around your eyes and it irritated you. I am officially obsessed with this eye product. I have looked at the research for this company many times, but I hadn't tried their eye product. So this is from the company One Skin. And so I get all this right. I mean, there's a lot of science-backed data. If in all doubt of a product and their claims, look at clinical research. That's all you have to do. Look at actual studies that they've done. Not all companies do them, but it is so reassuring when they do that you feel like you're not gonna waste your money on a product. So what happens is that this company tested over 900 different peptides over 7 years, over 17 patents and papers on this technology. It's called the OS01 peptide. So they call it OS01 eye supplement. And what they found was that this peptide prevents the accumulation of senescent cells. These cells are what accelerates skin aging. It's like incredible that they've kind of discovered this. It degrades your skin, all of these things that accelerate the aging of your skin. They found a peptide to get rid of that. So they call it skin longevity, which proven that this one peptide will a lot of the things that we've seen retinoids. In fact, they've even done studies with retinoids comparing the two, and this peptide can actually work better than a retinoid. That's what kind of sold me, but I'm like, wow, without the irritation potential, and they've shown studies like comparing the two, and I'm just like, it's amazing to see. So it increases collagen and even your skin's own hyaluronic acid production. It increases that dermal thickness. So we talk about dark circles and retinoids because retinoids have been proven to do is they increase skin cell turnover, which means sometimes you'll see like misinformation about retinoids that they thin the skin. They thin the stratium corneum, which is like the top layer of skin, but they actually increase the thickness of your epidermis and your dermis. So over time, that reduces fine lines, thickens the skin, meaning you're gonna see less of this depth from your under eyes. Your skin is not gonna thin out as much. It's actually gonna get thicker because it increases collagen production. It's like all the good things we want from our skin. And this has been proven to do the same and thicken your epidermis. They have a clinical study, 12 weeks, percentage of people that saw improvements in skin hydration, skin elasticity, skin firmness, even your skin's barrier function. 9.4 just around the under eye area. I've been using it and I can tell a difference in a very short amount of time. In fact, I kind of was sold when I saw somebody's results for just 2 weeks of using this product, and the main result I noticed was the eyelid, and I'm like, that's what I need. So my only complaint about the product is for some reason the formulation tends to get stuck in the nozzle. So you gotta be careful because so many times I've gone like this and it's like shot out across the room. But other than that, I feel like if you're very gentle, you can kind of see where it like builds up and kind of clogs it. It's fine. It's minimal, right? But it's got this great thin texture. and I can easily just kind of pat it on the eyelid and under. I feel like it's very hydrating. It kind of checks all of those boxes. I wouldn't necessarily say it depuffs, but it's definitely one you can use both morning and night. I've layered it with other eye products. I haven't had any issues. And so I feel like it's one of those things that if you're having, like, you really want to see results of anti-aging from an anti-aging perspective, I would say this is one of them that I would spend the money on. Whereas I have some other things in this bin that I have spent the same amount on, if not more, and they do not give the results that were promised. Nor do they have the science backed up with the studies and all of the things that I look for a product. So I definitely recommend this if you haven't tried it. I also feel like the packaging is very large and will last a long time because a little goes a long way. In fact, I'm not gonna waste this. I'm putting it on. So if your biggest concern is anti-aging around the eyes, I highly recommend this eye supplement. Speaking of retinoids, I had to mention this, especially when we're talking about 360 products. We're talking about lifting the eye. You guys have probably saw me, I used these over on Instagram. Make sure you take off the pink. Make sure you take off the pink layers. I am very impressed with these. I'll show you guys my before and after. Again, I'd say there's not very many eye products like eye patches that I've noticed a big difference in. Now, I have had some feedback with some clients that tried this afterwards and did have sensitivity to the retinol. If you're not sensitive to retinol, I highly recommend it. It does kind of tingle for me, but I did not get any irritation for day 2. I did notice an increase of lift right away off my eyelids. I even noticed my fine lines on the bottom were lessened. I definitely think it hydrates. It has a lot of glycerin in it. It has a lot of peptides, including copper peptides. It has some incredible ingredients, but if you're sensitive to retinol, that might not be for you. But I've been asked like, oh, you're gonna use it every day. There's only 5 pairs in here. For the price, I would not use this daily. I would say I'm going to save this for a special occasion, like before I have an event, before I have pictures taken. It does give an immediate lift to the skin. Over time, would it probably increase and get better? Absolutely. But at this price point, I would probably only use it once a week. I'm cheap, but it only comes with 5. So once a week, that's getting you a little over a month. But I had to mention it. If you have droopy eyelids like I do, it can be a total game changer. It worked really well. Another thing I think is just nice to have if you have eye issues like I do, like eye dermatitis, or maybe you're prone to getting a sty or an eye infection or just eye sensitivity in general. I shared the hypochlorous acid spray over on IG as well. This is really good to have in your arsenal for overall eye health. The reason being is it can kind of disinfect your eyes, especially if you're like me and you wear lashes that you wear for a full week. I get asked all the time like how I clean them. And yes, you can totally use a lash cleaning kit. But if you don't have time to do that daily, something like this is really easy and really quick to use because virtually it's like a quick, safe for eye sanitation. Like all you have to do is a couple sprays on your eye area and it's gonna kind of disinfect the eye. So I just kind of wanted to mention it. This is a great thing to have if you suffer from eye issues like that. The other thing, sunscreen. I cannot stress this enough. Do not waste your time using products like this that are anti-aging that you're gonna spend money on if you're not protecting your face daily. And this includes the eye area. The number of people I see who are not applying sunscreen to their entire eyelid, and I'll tell you, that's one of the reasons why my eyelids look the way I do. It is genetic. If you saw my mom, you'd get it. But it's also due to years of not protecting that area and going from UV damage like tanning beds and tanning outside when I was younger. It's very simple. It's designed to go across your entire eye, including your eye area. After I had melanoma, my dermatologist made me go to see an eye doctor because in your eyes is the second most common area for melanoma, okay? That's because your eyelid skin is so thin, right? You gotta protect all of that investment. If you're gonna spend the money on eye products, go ahead and protect it every single day. Okay, last but not least, what can you do as far as treatments go? Devices. I'm asked all the time, and if you don't know, if you've never had a consultation, Botox is not something that is approved for under eye area. So all of this, Botox cannot handle. Botox can do crow's feet. Now, I learned the hard way because this is something I didn't know. I haven't gotten Botox in years, but I did try it for crow's feet, and it actually increased the amount of lines I got under my eye. By freezing this, when you smile, then it increases this. So, kind of learned the hard way. Wasn't a great option for me. My crow's feet don't bother me as much as this part does right here, which can't handle that, right? During that same consult, they shared with me a procedure where you can take care of dark circles, under eyes, and I believe it was the CO2 laser. And I was like, wow, that before and after is amazing. But then they showed me the healing process and it terrified me. I'm not ready for anything extreme, surgery, none of those things. This entire video is all about things you can do without having to go that route, right? So in my research, one thing I have found is an at-home laser that is designed to be at home, but is similar to something like a CO2 laser that will reduce the look of wrinkles. So if you're looking for something that you can use at home that can actually reduce wrinkles, this device is FDA cleared. It's called the Nira. This is the second one, Model 2, which is larger. I haven't even opened it yet. They also have a precision, if you can tell. And I've seen this even used here on necklines. This one was designed for use under the eyes, 3 minutes a day, and it can give you pretty incredible results. So one of my goals is to take before pictures and use these consistently for 3 months and show you guys the results it can give. So if that's something you'd like to see, let me know. I really am curious to see if I can get those kind of results, especially in those problem areas that Botox is not an option for, in those areas that are currently issues for me. And that is about the only device I have found that is approved for under eye wrinkles. I haven't found anything else. If you guys have heard of anything, definitely share the love, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. There you go. That is all I've got for you as far as eye care. All of my current tried and true eye creams and serums and products that might help you with that eye area. If you have found a favorite that I didn't mention, of course, drop that as well. I'd love to hear it. I'm curious, do you use an eye cream? Do you think it's all marketing? Did this help you decide if you need an eye cream or not? Of course, it's all about your skin, what you're looking for, what results you're looking to get from it. As always, I will put links to everything I talked about down below. If you have any questions, definitely drop those in the comments. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here and watching. Love you. See you next week.